announced he too will resign at the end of the year.
Aaron would want us to feel sad, though. He would want us to be happy.
He'd want us to be happy.
For the first time, Aaron Beauchamp's parents open up about the school bus crash that took their little boy.
You asked why we haven't spoken in 3.5 years. We didn't ask for this, and we have been dealt with it, so we just do what we have to do.
How this local tragedy is now inspiring action at the national level.
It gave us a totally new look at school buses.
Contact 5 investigator Katie Legrone shares a story that will have every parent thinking twice about their child's school bus.
Tonight, how safe they are riding on one. Here now, Lessons from Aaron.
What happens over the next 8 seconds is so upsetting, we've decided to freeze time.
We didn't know the breadth of it until we got to the hospital.
Lillian and Simon Beauchamp
We were taken into a separate room.
would give anything
We were told by the superintendent at the time.
to do the same.
He just said, you know, Aaron's not coming back.
It's disbelief, really. You don't consider that as an option, not coming back.
3.5 years after the St. Lucie County school bus crash,
It was just the light of any room.
Aaron still brightens up the room.
The eternal flame, which is in honor of Aaron.
9-year-old Aaron was sitting in the 10th row of the school bus on his way home when the bus driver traveling westbound on State Road 70 turned left, straight into the path of an oncoming semi.
Oh my God! Oh my God, what did I do?
30 students under the age of 12 were on that bus.
And we thought as parents that the buses were the safest thing on the roads.
Aaron was the only one who didn't make it. How does any parent explain it?
Maybe God needed another angel, or you don't know.
All of St. Lucie County felt the shock of the district school bus crash and the soccer-loving 4th grader who died in it.
When you have a child who is 9 years old who has 1,500 plus people come to a funeral, you know that is a kid that made a difference.
19 other students were injured that afternoon, 8 of them serious. But what you haven't heard until now can best be told from here, our nation's capital, where the Port St. Lucie school bus crash of 2012 made history. History safety experts were never able to visualize until now.
It gave us a totally new look at school buses.
Dr. Chris Poland from the National Transportation Safety Board.
To have a system that works.
And Dr. Christy Arbogast from the Children's Hospital in Philadelphia.
And so this provides a way.
Are part of a special team recruited by the NTSB to study the crash that killed Aaron.
This was an extremely severe crash.
Even these veteran scientists weren't prepared for what they saw.
So it was difficult for you?
Oh, terribly. I came home that evening and said to my husband, I said, I think this was the most challenging professional day I've had.
Really?
So that was my first reaction. And then the scientist in me recognized, as I said, the value of this data.
This was a gold mine of information for you.
Certainly.
A gold mine because when it crashed, bus number 2414 was equipped with 4 surveillance cameras recording the entire time.
And it captured not only those events before the crash so that we knew what was going on ahead of time, but what happens during the crash and then after the crash. I had never seen any sort of a video like this before.
I think we must have watched the video hundreds of times, and each time we saw something different.
Like how flexible children's bodies really are.
We saw children who did essentially a back bend over the seat back. No spinal injuries, no back injuries.
Proving to this biomechanical engineer who designs child crash test dummies that the models they've been using are all wrong.
How stiff those dummies are. You can see they kind of move like this.
Then the students who just walked away.
We could see it.
Some even after losing consciousness.
Being able to see that time course is something, as a scientist, I've never seen before.
And finally, the seat belts. Every child seen on video was wearing one. And while many students were protected by the lap belt, others, like Aaron, who was sitting closest to the point of impact, were not. His broke apart. Others did little to keep students in their seats. The simulation video recreated from the crash explains why.
There is a lot of upper body flailing.
Now take a look at what happens when researchers added a shoulder belt.
Reduces the upper body flailing.
That's so dramatic. I mean, you can really see the difference.
Right.
It begs the question, shouldn't shoulder belts be a part of seatbelt design on school buses?
It's obviously a great question.
Research from this crash is now being used to redesign child crash test dummies, treat child head trauma, and the NTSB is now formally recommending anyone purchasing a belt-equipped school bus should consider a bus with lap and shoulder belts for best protection.
Do you think that would have saved Aaron Beauchamp?
It's very challenging to be able to say that the severity of this crash was high.
We don't know whether it would have helped Aaron, obviously, because he wasn't wearing that type of seatbelt.
Everything around in the house is pretty much a little bit of Aaron.
Aaron
This was everything as was. He left it.
still fills the Beauchamp's home,
This was his description of what he wanted to be when he grew up.
even the water bottle he drank from that morning
It's part of Aaron, I guess.
remains untouched.
That's what he touched.
This is the last image of Aaron Beauchamp before he died. His parents have never seen video of the impact.
Probably invoked too much emotion.
Aaron would want us to feel sad, though. He would want us to be happy.
He wants to be happy.
He'd say, oh, Dad or Mum, I'm sure he'd say, you don't have to.
Move forward.
Yeah.
And be happy.
Enough of the tears, move forward.
Yeah, he would.
What would you say back?
Trying.
Yeah, you do as parents.
I think probably the most important message would be that knowledge came out of this tragedy.
They can learn from it, then his life would have made a difference.
Kelly, Michael, Aaron's legacy lives on. Since this crash, the St. Lucie County School District has purchased 50 new school buses, all equipped with both lap and shoulder belts. And just today, making headlines, the federal government also endorsing both lap and shoulder belts be equipped on school buses.
So for all of the parents that have been watching this, should they be concerned about their child's school bus?
No. As devastating as this crash was, what it also proved to our experts is that school buses remain the single safest way to take students to and from school. And as far as the lap belts, they work. They do work properly in many cases, as long as they're worn properly, which means low and tight.
Of course, no one could watch his beautiful parents and that beautiful little boy and not come away inspired by their courage, and that in his name they'll continue to champion that cause.
Absolutely, and that's what they want. They want his life to have made a difference, and we're seeing that happen.
Without a doubt. Katie, thank you.